Switchcraft is recorded live 3 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern and on Saturday at whatever time I can get to it. Tune in live over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. This particular episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by Rezzed TV. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 over at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. I forgot the website there for a second. So now I'll call that patron and file save project as. I got to clean these up. SC206. Maybe E3 wasn't as hype as I wanted it to be. You didn't think so? I think that's because there were so many leaks at the beginning, Maddie. We knew so much coming up to it that there were a lot of things that just weren't exciting. However, you also have to remember that Nintendo doesn't just, if you're just talking about Nintendo stuff, Nintendo doesn't just announce stuff at E3. They announce a bunch of stuff all year long. So they don't have to be like, and we got a new this and a new this and a new this, and we're done for the year. And then they're not going to announce anymore. Nintendo always does those Nintendo Directs, so they keep things going. But I get what you're saying, Maddie. Episode 206 of Switchcraft is brought to you by Amazon Prime. I have been a member of Amazon Prime for a very long time. Things that we used to order, things that we used to go to the store for, we just now order on the website and it comes to the house a couple of days later. We use Amazon Prime all of the time. They have a fantastic return policy, and when you bundle that with their Prime Music, their Prime Video, and Twitch Prime, all that stuff comes together for what I think is probably the best subscription that you can get these days. If you want to check out Amazon Prime free for 30 days, all you need to do is head on over to runjumpstomp.com/Amazon Prime. You sign up there, you support the show, and then you get a free month of Amazon Prime. What more could you ask for? There we go. Sponsor. Save. Let me get my glasses on so I can see things. Oh, welcome back, Hartley. Vaxxer would ask for min dollars, which means minimum. So I understand that. What's my reaction to Spider-Man being a PlayStation exclusive? My reaction is I hate exclusives. I don't like that Octopath Traveler is an exclusive on the Switch. I don't like that Spider-Man is an exclusive on the PS4, but it's not a huge surprise since I think it's based on the movie. No, it's not based on the movie. Well, it's not a huge surprise. Spider-Man and Sony have kind of been really tight for a long time. I mean, the PlayStation 3, the font for PlayStation was the same font that Sony used for their Spider-Man movie, so not a huge surprise. So there you go. All right, we got the live. We did the sponsor. Okay. And then it was Kirby Geek. Okay. Real quick, I want to send a quick congratulations to Kirby Geek, who won the $60 eShop giveaway. Thank you to everyone who entered, everyone who listens, everyone who supports the show. You guys are awesome. Speaking of giveaways, we've got the Mario Aces tournament is now underway. So we've got the people who have signed up. I've collected their entries. I posted the rules and a bracket over at runjumpstomp.com/aces. So what you need to do if you signed up, then what you need to do once you get there is go there, look at the bracket, find the friend code of the person you're supposed to play against. Probably talk to that person through Discord. You guys can work out when exactly you're going to play against each other. The winner should hold down the capture button on their Nintendo Switch to record a 30-second clip, and then post that to Twitter, and then grab the link to your tweet and drop it in the tennis tournament channel. It's near the top in the Discord. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take all of the videos that people post, and I'm going to edit them together into one video. Let me see what else. So that's how if you post that to the tennis tournament thing, I will then update the bracket with the winner. And then after the winners, the tournament is over, I will make sure to edit that video, and I'll send out the gift cards for the winners. Again, it was $10 gift card from Backback B. Thank you for that, Backback B, and that goes to the winner. And then a $5 gift card from me goes to the second runner-up. So make sure that if you signed up, make sure that you join or head over to runjumpstomp.com/aces and be part of it. So don't just leave somebody hanging. All right, we got that done. We'll call that aces. Save. Okay. Here we go. Wait. Let me click. Well, Reggie Fils-Aimé was recently talking to Andrew Rayner, I believe I'm saying that correct, from Game Informer, and they were talking about all kinds of things. I'm not going to recount the entire article, but there were a couple of things that I thought were important takeaways that I want to focus on. You can find my write-up of this over at runjumpstomp.com, but first thing, he talked about Metroid Prime 4. And, a lot of people were wondering, how come we're not hearing about Metroid Prime this year? He said last year was important for us to send a message to the Metroid fan that there was a Metroid Prime experience in development as we showed Metroid Samus Returns for the 3DS. We didn't want them to say, you just launched a new system. When are you going to bring me a Metroid on that platform? We said it's coming, and this year they had so many games to talk about between now and the first half of next year. They wanted to focus on those games. And then he went on to say that Metroid Prime 4 is very much still in development. And I think that this is a great... This is something everybody already knew. If Nintendo had released or announced Samus Returns for the 3DS E3 last year and not mentioned Metroid Prime 4, people would have lost their minds. And I've been saying this since E3 last year. People would have gone absolutely bananas. So Nintendo had absolutely no choice but to announce Metroid Prime 4 really, really far in advance. Even though this is something that I always seem to be chastising gaming companies about announcing stuff too early, I feel like Nintendo's hands were tied at that point, and they had to announce it. Otherwise, they would have gotten a whole bunch of bad press, and people would have been, some people would have been less likely to pick up a Switch because of that. In the past, Nintendo has announced stuff and then, against everyone's better judgment, still released it for the system. So, for example, Breath of the Wild was in development for a very long time, and when the Wii U was announced, they even talked about, hey, we're making a brand new Zelda game for this, and it didn't come until the end of the Wii U's life, basically. I think that a lot of people would have said, you know what, just cut your losses and move it to the Switch, and it'll be even better. And they didn't do that. They said, look, we promised that we would bring this game to the Wii U, and so we're going to do that. Because I think that a lot of people bought Wii U's based on the fact that they said, we're bringing a Zelda to this system. Now, that being said, this is obviously not going to happen with with Metroid Prime 4, because the Switch is incredibly successful. We don't have to worry about them scuttling the Switch before they finish Metroid Prime 4. When do I think it's going to happen? I have no idea, and honestly, nobody else does either. But if I were to guess, I would say 2019, end of 2019 at the earliest, beginning of 2020 well, maybe not at the latest, but at the beginning of somewhere, end of 2019, beginning of 2020. That's my guess on it. He went on to talk about Amiibo. He said, we continue to be all in on Amiibo, with the Toys to Life category has always been different. It's been a message that you can use your Amiibo across a range of different content and experiences, and when you use it, it really does add some significant value. I don't know that using Amiibo really adds significant value to a game. Obviously, if you're watching the video version, you can see I have an Amiibo collection behind me. mostly because I think that the figures are cool, not because I want to use them in the game. So for me, I really don't care unless they come out with an amiibo that I have some kind of nostalgic attachment to. I don't care. But if they bring out something that is really cool, then I'll probably pick it up, and I may never use it in game. Now, in a related news, I just read this morning that they are going to be doing a reprint of the Smash Brothers amiibo. There's a full list of them. I didn't actually post it to the website, so I'm sorry about that. But this is on Reddit. They're going to be coming out in December, which makes sense because that's right as Smash Brothers Ultimate comes out. And then there'll be a second run coming in January. So if there's a certain amiibo that you missed out on, make sure that you hit those stores and see if you can find it if you are a collector. I think that would be really cool. Matty Walk says, the amiibos should have more use, like giving the 3DS more gifts. I don't know what you mean by that. Do you mean like themes or something like that? I think that would be a good use for the amiibo, giving you a theme. And by the way, why do we still not have themes on the Nintendo Switch? That's something that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. He was also asked about the 3DS, and this was a very, very important number. They were asked what's going on with the 3DS, and he said in the month of December, they had a 27% growth versus last year in the US. And this is the wrong button. I've been hitting the wrong button. Why didn't anybody tell me? This is the button I meant to hit. What was I hitting over here? Oh my gosh. This is what I meant to hit. So those of you listening, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but the video has been screwed up. Anyway, 27% growth. That's a crazy number over last year. The 3DS is now an 8-year-old system, and I have been a person who has said over and over, cut the 3DS. We don't need it. Focus all of your efforts on the Switch. And it looks like I was wrong. You know, Nintendo is still selling these really, really well. And speaking of that, there are brand new 3DSs to talk about. So let's actually take a quick segue over to that. We've got 3 new 2DS LL models. If you don't know, that's basically what they call the XL versions in Japan. They call them the LL models. And the 3 new ones are an Animal Crossing one, a Mario Kart one, and a Minecraft one. And they look so damn cool. Like, these things look really, really good. This comes directly from Nintendo's website, which I'm trying to bring up right now. We've got the Minecraft one, comes with Minecraft Reloaded. It looks fantastic. Like, what a gorgeous piece of hardware. Looks really, really good. I'm very impressed. Then we've got the Animal Crossing one, has a little embossed leaf in the center of the DS. And then there is the Mario Kart one. I don't know what red and black has to do with Mario Kart, personally. Like, that doesn't scream Mario Kart to me. But either way, it's really, really cool. Now, these are supposed to be selling for, the price was 16,980 yen, which translates to roughly $150. I think that we're just going to keep seeing Nintendo doing more and more of this until they can get the price of the Nintendo Switch down to $150. And it's going to be a long time, I think. Jay Hartley in chat says, I'm not going to pick up a 3DS. I would like to, but that's when its life would end. I'm not sure I know what you mean by that. Bad Blood in chat wants to know, is the DS region locked? Yes, it is. In fact, the very first Nintendo system that was not region locked was the Nintendo Switch. Matty Walk says the sales are increasing, but Pokemon cut the 3DS games, Rip Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon, and that makes that also is something that I mentioned. Did I mention it, or did I just think I was going to mention it? Yeah, maybe I wrote it in another article that I read, or that I wrote. with the fact that the Pokemon games are moving over to the Switch at the end of 2019 for the core Pokemon games, I do see the 3DSs starting to dry up, but at $150, like it's just, I mean, you could buy two 3DSs. Like if you got two kids, you can make them both happy. Or if they really wanted a Switch, you can make neither of them happy. But until, like I said, until the Switch is cheaper, you're not going to get rid of the 3DS, even if I personally think that they should. All right, now that we talked about that, Reggie was also asked about the Nintendo 64 Classic, which is, I'm very happy that they asked about this, and his answer is actually pretty great. He says that the NES Classic comes back this month. That's our focus right now. In terms of future classic series, we'll have to set up a different interview to talk about that. Look, we know our fans love legacy content. Being in this business 40 years, we know we have a lot of content we can surprise our consumers with. We're aware of it, and stay tuned. And for me, this is awesome because most of the time I would expect Reggie to give a non-answer to a question like that. But that feels like an answer. It feels more like an answer than a non-answer anyway. And the N64 Classic is by far the most important of the classic line because emulation of Super Nintendo games and emulation of Nintendo games is super easy to do. It's ridiculous easy. Anybody can do it, no problem. N64 emulation is kind of rougher. It never quite works out right. And that's why it's so important that Nintendo puts out an N64 Classic, because then we could finally replay, Super Mario 64. We could replay Zelda and Majora's Mask and all of the other fantastic N64 games. There are probably only first-party games, unfortunately. Although there's third-party games, probably none of the rare games. But there's a lot of games on the 64 which are fantastic. And right now, emulating them is a pain. And if Nintendo gives me a way to give them money for this stuff, then I will. Until then, they're just going to have to wait. Maddie Walk in chat says, should Nintendo remaster the Wii? No, I don't think that they should. It hasn't been very long. People can still play those games on the Wii U and on the Wii, and you can still get a Wii really cheap, and it'll still work. And motion controls kind of suck. And even though I was a fan of the Wii when it came out, it was because Nintendo made fantastic games for it. But I probably will never play the Wii again unless it's to play a GameCube game. So there you go. Bad Blood in chat says, even without the rare games, there should be a good variety to pick from. And I completely agree. He says GameCube, N64 soon, GameCube later on, hopefully. See, once you get to the GameCube, you're going to need more and more powerful hardware to emulate that. And that makes the price really kind of skyrocket. So I don't know if that's something that we might see. Anyway, if you want to read the full interview with Reggie, just make sure you head on over to runjumpstomp.com/206, and you can find the link in the show notes there. All right, Reggie, that's the bulk of the show done. Kodiak Moonwolf, yeah, give them a follow. Thanks for the... Oh my god, what the heck is this? It says, Kodiak Moonwolf, message param profile, image URL, HTTPS, blah, 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 rated the channel. I don't know what happened to my little message there. Thanks for the raid, man. I appreciate it. I didn't get to see it because I wasn't looking. Yeah, you definitely broke something. Here, I'll show you real quick. So Tiny Me. Like if you look right here, look at that ridiculous thing. Go back. By the time they would get to the GameCube, tech would have advanced. I suppose that's true. I don't agree that Nintendo needs to bring back the DS. You can play DS games on the 3DS. I would like to see a Game Boy um a Game Boy Classic. I wouldn't want it to be portable though. I just want to be able to play those games on my TV. You know, and I'm with Jay Hartley. I'm fine with them stopping at N64 Classic. Although here I can show you guys this. This is kind of cool. Where is it here? There we go. So where is it? This is my RetroPie, and there we go. Game Boy. No, that's Game Boy Advance. There's the Game Boy games. So we got a bunch of Game Boy games here. Oh, Hello Kitty. Bunch of Game Boy games. Game Boy Classic should be Switch carts. Well, I think all of the classics games should be Switch cartridges. Like, I think that Nintendo should sell NES Classic Switch cartridge. You buy that. NES Classic 2 Switch cartridge. You buy that, and then that's where you get them from. Or you can buy them from the eShop as well. I think that would be cool. Jay Hartley, yes, I spend more time fiddling with the settings of the RetroPie than actually playing it. All right, let's move on to the next story. All right. Well, with Wolfenstein 2 now out on the Nintendo Switch, you can now go to the eShop and buy it, or buy it on at a retailer. And if you do, you know, make sure if you're going to get it from Amazon, use my Amazon code, sellout. But Panic Button said that they are open to porting Wolfenstein Youngblood over to the Nintendo Switch. This is another article that I wrote up, on the 1st. It says here that, where is it? Here we go. So they were asked, let's see, Adam Creighton was asked about, are we going to be seeing Youngblood on the Switch? And they said that will be a Bethesda and Nintendo conversation. We're definitely up for it, and it's really going to be a portfolio call on their side. That's certainly their thing, but we're on board for it. And I think that that's a good answer. That kind of puts the ball in their court, and now it all comes down to how well does Wolfenstein 2 sell. If Wolfenstein 2 sells really, really well on the Nintendo Switch, then I think that Bethesda will talk to Panic Button again and get them to port it. And I have not played it, but everything that I hear about Panic Button is turning them into a developer that I really feel like you can trust, because they put out Rocket League for the Nintendo Switch. They're the ones that ported it, and it started out really good, but there were some bugs, there's some issues, and they've been continuing to work on it to make it better. And you know, I was sat down to play it the other day, and I still am having an absolute blast with that game, and it looks gorgeous. Now, I haven't played Doom, and I haven't played Wolfenstein 2 on the Switch, but I've heard both ports are very, very good. Panic Button seems to be doing a very good job by, porting their stuff to the Switch. And if you want them to keep working on that stuff, then I guess you better go out and pick up Wolfenstein. But again, I'm not picking up Wolfenstein for that system because I don't feel like it offers any benefit to being able to play it portably. So I may just end up picking it up for PS4 if I decide to. We'll see what happens in the future. There we go. There's Wolfenstein. Wolf. I'm not opposed to doing a Rocket League tournament. I don't know anything about it, and the next tournament that we're going to do after the Mario Tennis Aces one is going to be ARMS, because people were asking for that. It's also cheaper on PS4. Cool. I don't have time to play it right now, personally. All right. Well, it looks like Sony is finally starting to feel the pressure from the Fortnite crossplay disaster. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back, just go to runjumpstomp.com. And if you scroll through, I'm sure that you're going to find a podcast of me talking about Fortnite crossplay on the Switch. I'm not going to talk about it again. All right. What I will talk about is the fact that we finally have a response from Sean Layden. He is the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment America. And he was asked a very, very direct question about it. I want to bring up that direct question. This is by, oh, close this. No thanks. Okay. This was by Wesley Yinpool. And he asked a very, very pointed question, which I like. Here we go. Let me bring that up on screen. He says, I thought it was fascinating you talking about the PlayStation 3 flying too close to the sun, your Icarus moment, you called it, and then PlayStation 4 coming back to be more back to basics, to be more about the players, but there seems to be an issue at the moment that Sony isn't listening to its players, or doesn't seem to be, and that's crossplay, Fortnite particularly, and I wondered if there were any plans to open it up. And his response was, we're hearing it. We're looking at a lot of possibilities. You can imagine that there's circumstances around that affect a lot more than just one game. And I'm confident we'll get to a solution which will be understood and accepted by our gaming community while at the same time supporting our business. So again, they haven't said, yes, we're going to do it, but they've said, we're working on it. And what that probably means is it's not like they're working on seeing if it can happen, because we already know it can happen. It was turned on accidentally with the Xbox at one point. Same thing happened with what was it? Rocket League as well. Like at one point it was accidentally turned on where you could play with other people from PlayStation or from Xbox or whatever. So it's not like they're trying to figure out the technicalities of it. They're trying to figure out the business arrangement. And so now we just have to sit and wait for lawyers to lawyer things, which sucks and is stupid and is not what we want. But unfortunately, it's what we're going to get. Now, speaking of Fortnite, I want to tell you this. The Fortnite reveal was really awesome. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, back during a couple weeks ago, there was a countdown on all the TVs in Fortnite, and I said, oh, and it's gonna count down to this day, and something's gonna happen. And what happened was really, really cool. If you want to see what actually happened, follow the link in the show notes. It just says Fortnite reveal was really awesome, and it is it's a YouTube video where it was me and my son were playing Fortnite, and we're running around in the world, and the rocket launched and crazy things happened, and my son and I we were basically in awe. And I have to say that this is definitely one of my favorite gaming moments that I've ever had, was that moment when the rocket launched in Fortnite. And I don't know how they're doing it, but they seem to continually have an ever-changing and evolving world, because the very next day, my son and I parachuted in, or well, there's no parachutes in the game. They use like something else. We landed in this place. I think it was called Lonely Tower or something, because they always use alliteration. Lonely Landing or Lucky Landing or something like that. And we found like this weird glowing pulse of cloud. It was making weird sounds. And I was like, what is that? And he said, I don't know. And like, there was no patch to the game. It just happens. And I'm sure that they found some way to do this in the background, but it's just so cool that they're doing it. Jay Hartley in chat is correcting me, calling it Lonely Lodge is the correct name for it. But if you haven't played Fortnite because you're thinking, it's super popular now, it can't nearly be as good as everybody says it is. It's really good. It really is. Now, it's not my favorite Battle Royale game, but right now it's the only Battle Royale game on the Nintendo Switch, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And if you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. All right. Fortnite, I guess. Save. Well, I've just played Fortnite. I noticed A, there's new noises in the game. B, look up next time. The crack is growing. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, like this rocket hit the sky and then exploded, causing a crack in the sky, which is really cool looking. And what Kodiak is saying is that the crack is getting bigger and bigger, which is really, really cool. Gen Z, what's up? Hey, welcome to this. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Nerd Nest. All right, I'm going to lightning around the rest of this stuff. All right, we've got 3 quick stories before I get out of here. I'm going to do this in a lightning round. First, were some really weird accessories coming out for the Nintendo Switch. The first is a keyboard that you put your Joy-Cons on the side of in case you want to type to people, which is really bizarre. I can see why somebody would want this, but I don't see it being as useful as somebody who wants a keyboard for the Switch to be. I think you're almost better just having a separate keyboard. Like I keep this Logitech keyboard. Here, let me switch my camera around. I keep this Logitech keyboard. It has a little dongle, which I can't seem to pull out right now. This has a little dongle that I keep plugged into my PS4. So when I play Final Fantasy 14, I can grab my keyboard and start typing things. And I haven't tested that on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe that's something I can do before next time. Especially because right now, in Arena of Valor, you can type to people. And I wonder if the keyboard will work, and I can test it using that. So that's something I'm going to definitely have to check out. Another really weird contraption that is coming out for the Nintendo Switch is this little cardboard arcade, almost like Nintendo Labo ripoff. It looks really cool. I don't want it. This is really weird looking, but I can't imagine trying to play a game like this, but it looks cool. So I just want you guys to imagine an arcade cabinet made out of cardboard with the 2 Joy-Cons placed in it for you to play it as if you were standing up at an arcade, although it's small and sits on the table. I think it's really neat, but I would never buy this thing. But other than that, I think it's cool. The next thing that I want to talk about is that Night Trap. I've talked about this on the show before. Night Trap is coming to the Switch. We already knew it was coming to the Switch, despite the fact that I think it was Howard Lincoln said you will never see a game like Night Trap come to the Switch. That was back during the Senate hearings when Senator Lieberman started his crusade against violence in video games, and Night Trap kind of kicked all of that off. Well, Night Trap is coming to the Switch, and I want to buy it, which I didn't anticipate. Not really because I want to play the game so much. Although if I do pick up the game, I will probably end up streaming it. And if you are interested in this at all, then July 6th, and I'm shooting myself in the foot by telling people about this, because there's only going to be 3,000 of these. This is from limitedrungames.com. It's $70 limited collector's edition for the Nintendo Switch. Comes with a Sega CD jewel for you to put the thing in. Looks like the old Sega CD games. Comes with a VHS tape of all of the footage of the game. Not that anybody has a VHS player around, but it's still neat. And God, I would never open this, but if I did get it, I would be very, very happy. Now, if you are interested in picking up one of these limited run things, go to limitedrungames.com, or you can just go to my show notes and click the link there. And we have 2 days, 18 hours, 17 minutes, and 30 seconds as of this recording for you before the ordering is available. And again, there will only be 3,000 of these collector's edition ones made. It's so cool, and I really want one, but I know that I'm not going to be able to get one. And big thanks to Droid on Twitter for letting me know about this, because I just completely forgot. You know, I talked about the news story that it was coming out, and then I forgot that it was coming. So there you go. Gen Z 0509 says they really want Night Trap. Jay Hartley says I have a VHS somewhere. So there you go. Finally, last story before we get out of here. This is from Nintendo Versus on Twitter. We are coming up on the Splatoon 2 first anniversary is coming, and it's time for a fishy free-for-all global Splatfest. Which sea creature is your favorite? Team Squid or Team Octopus? Pick your preferred cephalopod in-game on July 6th and prepare for Tentacled Turf War starting on July 20th. So there you go. I don't really have much else to say about that, except that if you don't already follow Nintendo Versus on Twitter, you should, because they tell us all about that multiplayer madness that goes on for the Nintendo Switch. I'm starting to get hoarse. All right. Lightning round. Someone said that this means you can play as the Octoling even if you don't have the DLC. I have no idea. I don't know. I've never heard about that. All right. Oh, shoot. I got a review. Hold on. I almost forgot to read this review. I'll add it to the show notes afterwards, but that's not it. That's not it. Where's my reviews? I didn't delete it, did I? Ah, here we go. Okay, I already read that one. Okay. All right, before we get out of here, I just want to thank two people for them reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts. I really appreciate that. The first one comes from Crockmetowo. Sorry about the pronunciation there. They are from Switzerland, and they said the English is not their main language. They said that the show is very good. Maybe I like it a lot because we are the same age and we have the same game taste. Congratulations and thank you. So thank you very much for the 5-star review. I'll say Crockmetao for your name. And then I also got one from New Zealand from Brewsta88. They said, I have owned a Nintendo Switch for about a month and have not had a Nintendo console since the Super Nintendo. I love my Switch, and this podcast is the best news show there is for everything that is happening on it. Informative, funny, and evocative with sound clips and music from the old days, and 3 times a week, which means there's never long until I can listen again. P.S. The Mute City acoustic music at the end is genius. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you very much, Brewsta and Crockmetao, for the 5-star reviews in Apple Podcasts. It really does help. It's an absolute massive help because it helps people notice the show. Now, real quick, before I get any further, the F-Zero instrumental music that you guys hear is played by Tom Winter. So if you go to YouTube and look for Tom Winter on there, or probably Tom Winter acoustic video game or something like that, or Tom Winter F-Zero, you'll find his channel and check out his stuff because it's really good. And since I'm already mentioning Tom Winter, I also want to mention Note Block, which is the musician that made the music at the beginning of the audio podcast. So like my intro music, basically. So make sure that you check that out. Again, that's Note Block. Really, really good stuff. Don't forget that if you want to get the full show, then you have 2 ways of doing it. You can tune in live over at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp, or if live isn't something that you can do because you're super busy, then make sure that you check it out over at YouTube. That's youtube.com/runjumpstomp. And if you're looking to support my content, you can easily do that by heading on over to runjumpstomp.com/thank you. All the links that you find there will help me create more content. Big thank you to everyone who has already supported the show in small ways or big ways. You know who you are, and I really appreciate it. And thank you so much. I really do. Finally, it's time for me to thank the live chat, because we wouldn't be like, this would not be as good of a show without these guys. So let's go through the list. We've got Kodiak Moonwolf, Vaxer, H-Bomb and Friends, I am H64, Genzo509, J Hartley 17, Kimbalina 66, Lego Lawyer, Link 31254, Mr. Cool Red, Luigi, RPG Rerun, Skill Warrior, Slow Cool, Trev 125, V and K, Virgo Pros, XC Bad Blood, and of course the lurkers. You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the raid in the middle of the podcast. Kodiak Moonwolf, you are awesome. And Mikey95, thank you for the follow during the show as well. And H-Bomb, thank you for the host. You guys are great. I will see you all next time. Stay awesome, and bye-bye.